There are those that just want to be left alone, and those that just won't leave them alone. Which one are you? The Ernest Hancock Show.
Welcome back to Declare Your Independence with me, Ernest Hancock, in studio guest, Pal Gamble, senior editor of Freedoms, with an S, freedomsphoenix.com. You know, we were just talking about that clip that they just played before. You know, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the country and whatever, and this is not brainwashing, and we know what we're doing, and we're only 6. You know, And we were just talking about it, and they played it. And I'm going, I saw it yesterday. It was on Freedom's Phoenix, and it was put up. I don't even know who put it up. You put it up, didn't you? And then it was the whitest kids that you know is the group of comedians that put these kind of things up. And I don't know where they came from, but every now and then they'll put up something cool. And they had some kids, it looks like in a classroom with desks and everything, and they're reciting this thing, and it's so appropriate. We've had this discussion before, and I remember the graphic that it brings to mind on this is the salute to the flag. When you do I pledge allegiance, it didn't used to be your hand over your heart. It was you had your hands at your side, and then when they said I pledge allegiance to the flag, you did like this Nazi salute with your palm up, and you have pictures of them. And after World War II and Nazi Germany and everything, that kind of fell in favor, so they changed it to hand over heart thing. But and then they added under God and all this. And what a lot of people don't know from the beginning is that was a socialist effort. It was, what was his name? Bellamy?
Edward Bellamy.
Yeah, Bellamy. And it was, they got it instituted with the socialist unions of the teachers and so on, the NEA and such back in the day. And they knew that they needed to have the children, you know, in government schools and government indoctrinated with the government saluting and government rituals and government. And then Eisenhower, all of a sudden, it's okay as long as they put under God in there. And I'm going, man, you're missing the point. They're brainwashing generations with this stuff. And I'm going, so I know a lot of people disagree with this. You know, we have a thing called the Arizona Breakfast Club. You sent me a note. We got to do this Saturday. The first Saturday of every month. It's 40 years we've been doing this, since the 60s, you know, way before my time. And it got passed off to me by Harry Everingham, that passed away at about 94. And he was God, country, and patriotism and conservatism. And it was, you know, that was the Arizona Breakfast Club. And when I took it, I said, I'm not going to be able to do this until Harry passes, because, and they wanted to pass on to libertarian because they knew that, you know, we really meant it. And he was adamant about the pledge. And I'm just going, you know, I'm just going to have to wait until he goes, because I can't do this and pledge allegiance to this corrupt thing or to anything. Well, you know, maybe an ideal or something.
Keep in mind, the Pledge of Allegiance is contemporary. It's only been around since like 1920-something. So yeah, our founding fathers, in fact, the founding fathers discussed it. Hamilton, of course, wanted a Pledge of Allegiance. And they're like, no, that's okay, Alex. You can go sit down.
You and your Hamiltonians, you know, have a nice day. You know, there was, that reminds me. Tom Rawls was a city councilman. He used to be a county supervisor. And he was a city councilman here in Mesa. And he decided, he goes, you know, I'm not standing for the pledge as long as we're at war with all this stuff. And he's a libertarian. I mean, he was elected as a Republican, but he's well-known libertarian. And in fact, he ran for governor as a libertarian, you know, in 98 for the nomination. And what happened was he's an attorney, and he's an elected, well-respected individual, good Christian. And what happened was he just says, I'm not doing this pledge thing anymore, certainly not while we're at war. Well, they came after him. They made a big stake and deal out of it. They had Boy Scouts come in, and they wanted to, you know, carry the flag and they made a big political thing out of it. Well, a lot of us went down there, and we would sit down in the front, right? We would make sure we were on the cable cameras and everything for everybody. And we would sit down during the pledge, and then we get up and leave. And we need to sit here for all the rest of this stuff, you know, as a show of support for him. Because it was, and you know what? As we started past, because you created a flyer, gave the history on this. And when the Boy Scouts and guys would come, we would look. We just want to make sure you guys know what this really means and where it came from. All of a sudden, that issue went away.
Yeah, they weren't too happy about us doing that, though. That made it even twice as fun.
You know, a lot of people, it's uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies. Just tell me the truth. It's not what you think it is or what you want it to be. Truth is truth. History is history. It happened or it didn't. There was a reason or there wasn't. There were people behind it. They had a goal. They accomplished it or they didn't. You can sit and blah, 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 blah all you want. I'm afraid this generation next, these guys, they have the internet. They went, they checked out the truth. They asked friends. They went for peer review. They started reading history. That, I never knew what it meant when you said, when I was younger, they go, oh, he's forgotten more than you'll ever know. How the heck is, him forgetting stuff going to be more than what? I don't even know what that means. It wasn't until the youth now started reading, immersing themselves in Austrian economics and so on, that I go, wow, man, they've read so much. I'll bet they forgot more than I've ever even read. And I go, oh, I understand what they mean by that now. They've forgotten more than what I've ever even knew. So I'm going, okay. And these are the 20-something-year-olds. I'm 50. It's amazing. You're not going to be able to lie to these people anymore. As they're sitting in class, they got their smartphone. They touch a couple of keys. The mandatory youth indoctrination camp leaders sitting up front, blah, 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 blah. Before they even finished a sentence, the kid's going, I don't think so, man. Nice try.
The power of the internet.
I'm really happy about, this magazine thing. I've been kind of continuing. I've been talking about it a lot because we've been working on it hard and, not yakking about it, but it's coming together now. It's in place. It's longer than I thought it was going to be, but it's so good. I'm so happy. And I put the effort in now so that people will have what this thing is all about. And my generation and older, I used to think in the 90s when I first started this in my 20s, I got it. They're not going to get, they're too vested in the system. And I go, I'm just waiting for them to die off. The generation older than me, just going to have to die off. It's going to be another 20, 30 years. I knew the guys I was up against, they were in their 60s, 70s then. I'm in my late 20s. And I go, I get it. You're just going to have to die off. And I have to do whatever I can to make sure there's not another generation that's going to be supporting this. And we work very hard at it. Well, when the internet happened in the last 4 years, all of a sudden, man, there's a cultural revolution going on. And it's not just the United States. It's worldwide. We have Freedom's Phoenix translated into 39 languages. We have an Arabic Facebook and Twitter. All of our Levolution graphics have been translated into Arabic. When Cairo went into revolution, we sent them a bunch of art. While Hillary's wanting to meet with the rebel leaders, we're going, yeah. The demographics are 33% of 80 million people in that country are 14 and under. How do you get away from that demographic? And you think they don't got access to internet or at least know what it is? And it spreads like wildfire with these guys. They may not have a plumbing, but they got a phone. So this is going to be, it's over. And the dollar is done. And if you're not preparing and you understand, get your mind right around what we want next, then you're just going to be waiting for Pharaoh number 400 and something to rule you. Either you own yourself or you don't. Who owns you? And if it's not you, then who does? And who gets to decide, what you can and can't do? You're going to give that to somebody else? So this revolution is between the ears. And I hope new listeners to the show understand that, whether you agree with us or not, we are very convinced. We've been doing this a long time, and it is beginning now. And it always was going to come down to the economy. Always has been. And Dr. Paul, that's one thing he's been saying a lot. He's going, people vote with their bellies. This is what's going to happen. What are some of the headlines, before the end of the show? You got some biggies there you want to mention?
One of the biggest areas that's been popping up recently is that with this G8 meeting that's going on, they're trying to figure out a way of getting a handle on this internet thing. And I'm not sure how they're going to try to do it, whether it's going to be licensing, you got to pay a license where you get your access to the thing. Or,
let them.
Exactly. I'm sort of like, it's like I sit back and I go, I don't know whether to be worried or just laugh at their attempts.
Yeah, we're just getting our own satellites and screw you. The worse they make it, the more free we're going to be. What do you think all this private space travel thing was all about? Had Richard Branson of Virgin Galactic and Virgin Records and Virgin Airlines and Virgin, he said, you know what? Space ain't a virgin anymore. Virgin's going to be up there. He goes, we're buying all this about a year ago. It was like 6 months ago. He goes, we're buying all of these bankrupt communication satellites so poor children in the third world can have internet. I'm like, yeah, all right. You know what they're doing is the Department of Defense is what has the internet. We're going to bypass. What are they going to do? Make it illegal to communicate without their permission? Not how you communicate, but to communicate. You're not allowed. That's what it's going to have to come down to. Oh. You guys, just wait. We'll help walk you through it. We'll see you tomorrow. Uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies. That's what readers of freedomsphoenix.com get every day. Readers of freedomsphoenix.com are constantly provided the information that detail the real news between the lines of propaganda about government policies and the true relationship we all have with coercive governments. Learn the true condition of our economy, innovations and technological breakthroughs in energy, health, computer science, and space travel. Learn the truth well before it's admitted to in the mainstream media, the media that is so last century. Corporate media has evolved into nothing more than distributors of government propaganda, but we now have a fantastic alternative. FreedomsPhoenix.com provides constant news updates on the issues that affect our lives in the most important ways. Our liberty and our property are under constant attack, and FreedomsPhoenix.com provides the understanding behind the propaganda while encouraging the participation of our readers. Join us at FreedomsPhoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, Phoenix.com. FreedomsPhoenix.com, where the revolution between the ears has already matured.